Sandy Koufax, Baseball Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax took advice from his friend Fred Wilpon, the owner of the New York Mets, to invest with Bernie Madoff. Similar to other celebrities on the 163-page list, Koufax lost out in the scam. Although Koufax's investment remains unknown, it can't have been a small investment. Steven Spielberg, even Hollywood's favorite movie maker, wasn't safe from Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. Spielberg invested some of his personal wealth with Madoff, along with funds from his charity, the Wunderkinder Foundation. With most of the finances tied up in the scheme, the foundation's funds were totally drained, with no other option for Spielberg than to close the organization. Tiger Woods wasn't short of cash. As one of the highest-paid athletes in the world, he fell victim to credit card fraud at the hand of Anthony Lamar Taylor, who got hold of Woods' real name, social security number and date of birth very easily. Taylor applied for a driver's license in the golfer's real name and opened up numerous lines of credit with the stolen identity. Then the shopping spree started, totaling $50,000 of goods and services, including a luxury car and 70-inch TV. Liv Tyler, they say the face is the moneymaker, and in Hollywood you know it's got to be true. La La Land starlets are often linked with skin experts to make sure they're camera ready, and Liv Tyler was no exception. Unfortunately, Maria Gabriela Hashemapur, skin expert to the stars, took Tyler for a financial ride. Hashemapur kept Tyler's credit card numbers and made purchases on the cards. Tyler's managers eventually noticed $214,000 charges on her credit card accounts that were not her own. Kiefer Sutherland, actor Kiefer Sutherland lost almost $1 million in a cattle investment scam. Sutherland made an investment of $869,000 in 2007 in cattle with steer roping promoter and cattle manager Michael Wayne Carr, but it was nothing more than a load of bull. Jack Nicholson, with a legendary career, Jack Nicholson is a big-timer in Hollywood, but even the rich and famous can be duped. Todd Michael Volpe, a well-known Manhattan art dealer, built a reputation in the 90s advising Hollywood celebrities on how to build their art collections. Nicholson provided $610,000 to Volpe's investment fund, which would buy and sell artworks and split the profits, except it wasn't. In 1998, Volpe received a 28-month prison for defrauding his clients of more than $1.9 million. Sting, even with good intentions, there's still a possibility of losing millions. This was the case for Sting when he hired show business accountant Keith Moore as his financial advisor. In a scam that lasted over 15 years, Moore managed to swindle $10 million without Sting's knowledge. Hoping the singer wouldn't notice, he opened over 100 bank accounts, stole money from Sting's accounts and launched a series of investments, including a chain of Indian restaurants in Australia. Ben Stiller's financial planner and manager Dana Jacketto was sentenced to 57 months in prison in 2001 for looting $10 million from the accounts of famous clients, including $250,000 from Stiller, who thought he was a hip, savvy investor. Elie Wiesel, the late Nobel Peace Prize laureate, was hit very hard by Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. Mr. Wiesel's charity Survivors Foundation for Humanity lost $15.2 million, which was substantially all of its assets, and he and his wife Marion lost their life savings. According to Mr. Wiesel, spotting problems in the scheme wasn't easy. He said there was a myth surrounding Madoff, that everything available through the scheme was so unique and special it had to remain a secret. De Niro, king of the screen Robert De Niro also fell victim to Solander's scam. Following the death of his painter father, De Niro was left with a large collection of art which he hoped to sell, and who better to enlist for help than Lawrence Solander? Solander essentially stole the proceeds of 12 works by the actor's father to settle his debts. He was later charged on multiple counts of grand larceny and was imprisoned for his $120 million scheme. Billy Joel, it's often better to keep your finances and family separate, a lesson Billy Joel learned the hard way. Joel hired his former brother-in-law Frank Weber as his manager back in the 80s, which proved to be hellish. Joel discovered Weber had stolen money, and made investments without Joel's knowledge. The final spends made by Weber totaled $90 million. The subsequent court battle was expensive and lengthy, and Joel only got back $8 million of his lost funds. Zsa Zsa Gabor, another victim of Bernie Madoff's infamous Ponzi scheme, Hungarian-American actress and socialite Zsa Zsa Gabor and her husband Frederic Prinz von Anhalt invested with Madoff and were reported to have lost upwards of $10 million by 2009. According to Gabor's attorney Chris Fields, 4 of his clients were affected by the scheme with a total of over $35 million lost. John McEnroe, tennis legend John McEnroe, along with Robert De Niro, plus Bank of America, investment firms and art owners were duped in a high-flying $88 million art investment scam by one Lawrence Salander. The scheme lasted from 1994 to 2007, luring investors to pay for shares of ownership of works of art, and McEnroe lost $2 million after investing in a half share in 2 paintings. Noel Edmonds, in 2005, UK TV star Noel Edmonds, known most famously as the presenter of Deal or No Deal, was targeted by scammers, and his media company Unique Group collapsed in the process. He claimed his company was affected by a historic $317 million loan scam by employees of UK banking group Lloyds. Edmonds reportedly agreed to settle for $6.3 million in compensation for the destruction of his business and damage to his reputation. John Malkovich, the American actor, also fell for Madoff's Ponzi scheme. Things began to deteriorate for Madoff after clients requested a total of $7 billion back in returns, but he only had between $200 to $300 million left to give back. Malkovich said he was financially ruined by the scam, and in 2011 went to court to try and reclaim the $2.3 million he lost. In November 2017, the U.S. Department of Justice announced it would distribute $772.5 million to victims, including Malkovich. Kyra Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon. In 2008, actors Kyra Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon were 2 of many multimillionaires who fell victim to one of the biggest Ponzi schemes of all time. Bernie Madoff's scheme conned investors out of a whopping $65 billion, and Sedgwick and Bacon were scammed out of an estimated $100 million. Many victims thought their fortunes were lost forever, but after Madoff's high-profile trial, the couple reclaimed some of their money, while Madoff was sentenced to 150 years behind bars. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, please subscribe and share. See you in next video. Bye.